Hello students, welcome back. In the last session, we have studied constructors in Python. In today's session, we will discuss inheritance in Python. Inheritance can be defined as the process where one class acquires the properties of another class. The properties may be the methods and fields. In our day-to-day life, we come across many objects which share common properties and behavior. Instead of defining these properties and behavior in separate classes, we can make one class inherit those properties from the other class, or one class acquiring the properties from the other class, and this mechanism provides us the code reusability. This will also help us to reduce the line of codes in the program. So in today's session we will study about inheritance in Python. We will study how Python supports inheritance. So let's start. Inheritance is a powerful feature of object-oriented programming. It refers to defining a new class with little or no modification to an existing class. So that simply means we can define a new class from an existing class, and the new class may include all the properties of the existing class, as well as it may have the new class includes all the properties of an existing class, as well as it may have its own properties. The new class is called derived class. The new class which we create, it is called as derived class, or we can even call it as child class. And the one from which it inherits is called the base class or the parent class. So the new class is called as child class or derived class, and the class from which we are inheriting, and that class is called as the base class or parent class. Now let us look at the inheritance syntax in Python. So suppose we have a class with the name base class, and we have a body of the base class, some statement, that is some variables and methods defined in the class base class, and we are defining here one more class, say new class. The name of this class is derived class, and this derived class wants to inherit the base class, and this inheritance can be done by using the round brackets after the class name in Python. So the name of a new class is derived class. Inside the bracket, so you can see inside the round bracket we have the class name which we want to inherit. So the class which we want to inherit, it is base class, so that base class has been passed here, and again we have colons and body of the derived class or body of the child class. This means the derived class here inherits the properties of a base class. So all the properties of a base class are accessible inside the derived class. Okay, let us look at this with an example program. Say we have a class animal. This animal class contains a method that is def speak. The method is speak, and what this method contains, this method has one print statement, that is animal speaking. It is simply printing one statement there, and that's it. This is about the class animal which we have. Now we want to define one more class called as dog, and dog class should inherit the properties of animal class. Now what are the properties of animal class? Animal class contains only one method, the method is speak. So dog class wants to inherit that speak method in the dog class. We want to inherit the method from animal class. So we have defined a new class dog, and the dog class is inheriting the class animal here. If you compare this with Java, in Java we use keyword extends the superclass name to inherit. In Python, simply declared the superclass name inside the round brackets. Okay, then dog class also contains its own method. The method is bark, and this method simply prints dog barking. Now as dog class inherits animal class, now you can say dog class contains two methods. Now the dog class contains one method of its own, that is bark, and dog class also contain one more method from the superclass. The method is speak. So dog class has two different methods, speak and bark. Okay, so what we have done, we have first created an object of class dog, and once we have the object of class dog, we can call all the methods of class dog. As I've told you, we have two different methods, bark and speak. Bark, which is the original method of dog class, and speak, which is from the superclass or the parent class animal. So by using the object of dog class, we can access both the methods. So d.bark will access the method which is present in the bark class, in the dog class, and when we say d.speak, it will access the method from the animal class, and this is possible only because dog is inheriting animal. Okay, so this is how one class can inherit the properties of another class in Python. Okay, Python multi-level inheritance. Python also supports multi-level inheritance as other object-oriented programming languages. Multi-level inheritance is achieved when a derived class inherits another derived class. When one derived class inherits another derived class, then it is called as multi-level inheritance. For example, if we have class A, B, C, where class B is inheriting class A and class C is inheriting class B, so we can call this as multi-level inheritance. Class B is inheriting, class C is inheriting class B, class B is inheriting class A. Now even to understand this, we have a diagram here. You can see class N is inheriting class 2 and class 2 is inheriting class 1. So this type of inheritance, you can call it as multi-level inheritance, and there is no limit on the number of levels up to which the multi-level inheritance is achieved in Python. So there is no limit for the levels in multi-level inheritance in Python, remember. The syntax of multi-level inheritance is also given here. You can see the syntax is class, say class 1, and it has the body, the class root. It contains some statement. Consider it is having some methods and variables defined. Then we have class 2, and class 2 is inheriting class 1, and class 2 also contains its own variables and methods. Then we have one more class, class 3. Class 3 is inheriting class 2, and class 3 also contains its own body, its own methods and variables. Now class 2, apart from its own methods and variables, class 2 also contains the properties of class 1. Same way, class 3 is also having its own body, and class 3 also contains the properties of class 2. Now when I say class 3 contains properties of class 2, class 3 actually contains properties of both, that is class 2 and class 1. Remember, so this is multi-level inheritance. Okay, let us look at one example based on multi-level inheritance. Okay, we have a similar example. So class animal, it contains a method that is speak, which is printing animal is speaking. Then we have one more class, that is class dog. Class dog is inheriting class animal. So dog is having the properties of animal. Properties of animal is speak. Class dog also has its own property, that is bark, which is printing dog is barking. So we have one more class. The class is dog child class, and dog child class is inheriting dog class. Means dog child class contains properties of both dog and animal. So dog child class has the method speak, it contains the method bark, and it also contains its own method, that is eat as well, which simply prints eating bread. Okay, then we are creating an object of class dog child. So D is equals to dog child, and if you look at the methods which we are calling bark, speak and eat. If you look at the dog child class, there is only one method in the dog child class, that is eat. Even though we are able to access the method bark and speak, which belongs to animal and class dog, and this is possible only because of this multi-level inheritance, where dog child is inheriting dog and dog in turn it is inheriting animal. So dog child contains properties of both the superclasses, that is dog and animal. So we can call D dot bark, D dot speak, or even D dot eat. So this is multi-level inheritance in Python. Okay, Python also supports one more type of inheritance, that is multiple inheritance. The multiple inheritance, actually it is not supported by Java, but Python supports multiple inheritance as well. In multiple inheritance, one class may inherit from multiple other classes. In multiple inheritance, one class may inherit from multiple other classes, or you can say there can be more than one base classes for a derived class. As it is shown in the diagram, we have a derived class or a child class, and the child class is inheriting from more than one base classes, that is base class 1, 2 and any number of base classes. Okay, the syntax of this multiple inheritance, it is given here, that is class base class 1, then we have base class 2, same way we may have any number of base classes, the base class n, and we may declare a child class, a derived class, and this derived class is inheriting from base class 1 comma base class 2, then base class n. So all the classes from which it is inheriting are differentiated by using a comma in between. So you have to use a comma in between to specify multiple classes from which the class has to inherit. Okay, so this is how multiple inheritance works in Python. Now look at a simple example here. So we have a class here, that is calculation 1, and this class defines a method summation, and it takes actually 3 parameters, we can say self and a and b. Self is common parameter for all the methods in Python. Apart from that, we have a and b as parameter, and what it is doing, it is simply returning summation of two numbers, that is a and b, which are received as parameters. Then we have one more class, that is calculation 2, and this calculation 2 contains a method multiplication. Even this is taking 3, or you can say 2 arguments, a and b, and it is returning multiplication of those arguments. Now we have a class, that is derived class, and this derived class is inheriting both the classes, that is calculation 1 and calculation 2. That means derived class is having properties of both calculation 1 and calculation 2. So you can see derived class is having methods summation and method multiplication. Derived class also has its own method, that is divide method, and even this is taking 2 arguments and it is returning a by b. Now outside the classes, what we have done, we have created an object of derived class d, and by using derived class object we are able to access the method summation, multiplication and divide. Summation and multiplication belongs to calculation 1 and calculation 2 classes, but even though we are able to access it because derived class is inheriting from both the classes. So this is how multiple inheritance is achieved in Python. Okay, this is about multiple inheritance, and that's it in today's session. We will stop here. Thank you.